Morning students, this is class 11th maths lecture 2nd of chapter 7th. So firstly we will discuss the questions of exercise 7.1. So in question number first they have asked how many 3-digit numbers can be formed from the digits 1 to 5 assuming the first case is that repetition is allowed. Now see, we have 5 digits to make a 3-digit number, right? And because repetition is allowed, this is the case. So the first place has 5 options. Any of the digit can come in the first place. Now because repetition is allowed, second place also has 5 options, and similarly the third place also has the 5 options. Therefore in this case number of 3-digit numbers that can be formed are 5 into 5 into 5 because of fundamental principle of counting, right? Because for first event we have 5 options, for second event and for third event also 5 options. Therefore total number of ways will be 5 into 5 into 5, which is 125. Second part is that when repetition is not allowed. Now see, because repetition is not allowed, for the first place we can use any of the digit. Therefore for the first place we have 5 options. Now for the second place we can use any of the digit which has not been used in the first place. So the at first place we have used one digit, right? Now the digit which has been used at this first place cannot be used on the second place. Therefore for the second place we have 4 options, and for the third place we have 3 options. Therefore total number of 3-digit number will be 5 into 4 into 3, that is 60. Now in question number 2 they have asked how many 3-digit even numbers can be formed from the digits 1 to 6 if digits can be repeated. Now in this question we can repeat the digits and we have to tell how many 3-digit even numbers can be formed, and the digits given are 1 to 6. Now see, we have these 3 places, or say 3 events. Because the number, this 3-digit even number should be an even number, therefore for the unit place we have 2, 4 or 6 as the options, right? Because the number which we want to form is an even number, therefore unit place can be filled either with 2 or 4 or 6. Therefore for the third place we have 3 options. Now for the second place, because digits can be repeated, we can use any of the 6 digits, and at the first place we can use any of the 6 digits, right? I have just written here 6 and 6, but you have to write the proper statement that for second place we have 6 options, for the first place we have 6 options, because digits can be repeated, right? Therefore by the fundamental principle of counting, total number of 3-digit numbers will be 6 into 6 into 3, that is 108, right? Now question number 3 is how many 4-letter code can be formed using the first 10 letters of the English alphabet if no letter can be repeated. Now see, for this question we have 10 letters and we have to make 4-letter code, and also letters cannot be repeated. So for the first place we have all the 10 options. Now for the second place any letter can be used but not the letter which has been used on the first place, right? Therefore for the second place we have 9 options left. Now for the third place we will use the letters which have not been used at the first and at the second place. Therefore for the third place we are left with 8 options, and for the fourth place we are left with the 7 options. Therefore total number of 4-letter code will be 10 into 9 into 8 into 7, that is 5040. Clear? Now question number 4 says how many 5-digit telephone numbers can be constructed using the digits 0 to 9 if each number starts with 67 and no digits appears more than once. So basically first of all we have the given digits as 0 to 9, that is we have in total 10 options. Also we have to make a 5-digit telephone number in which digits cannot be repeated. Also they have given that the number should start from the 67. That is, for the first place they have fixed the digit 6, because they have said that the number from the starting should be 67. Therefore for the first place they have fixed the digit 6. That is, for first place we have only one option. Now for the second place also they have fixed the digit 7, right? Because they said the number should start from the 67. So for the second place 7 digit is fixed, therefore it has also one option. Now for the third place, because digits cannot be repeated, therefore we have for the third place options as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are already used at first and second place, so we will not use that. So 8 and 9, therefore 2 options have been used here. Therefore for the third place we have 8 options. Similarly for the fourth place 7 options, and for the fifth place we are left with the 6 options. Therefore 5-digit telephone numbers which can be constructed by using the digits 0 to 9 are: for the first place 1 option, for the second place 1 option, for the third 8, for the fourth 7, and for the fifth place 6 options. So in total we can construct 336 such telephone numbers, right? Now question number 5th is: a coin is tossed 3 times and the outcomes are recorded. How many possible outcomes are there? So see, if we toss a coin, then the outcomes are head or tail, right? So if 3 coins are tossed, for each coin we have 2 outcomes. Either 3 coins are tossed, or we say that a coin is tossed 3 times. It means the same. For each coin we have 2 outcomes. Therefore total outcomes will be: for the first coin 2 outcome, for the second coin also 2 outcome, head or tail. For the third coin also 2 outcomes will be there, right? So total outcomes will be 8, right? Now question number 6 is that 5 flags of different colors are given, and they have asked how many different signals can be generated if each signal requires use of 2 flags, one below the other. Now see, we have to use 2 flags to generate the signal, right? So the first flag, for the first place we have 5 options, because we are given with the 5 different flags. Now for the second place we have 4 options, because 1 flag has been used here. Therefore in total number of signals which can be generated are 20, right? Factorials we have discussed earlier also, so I'll tell you quickly about this. So n factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to 1, right? And 0 factorial is 1. For example, you know this 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1, that is 6. Now see, 3 factorial can also be written as 3 into, this is 2 into 1, so this is 2 factorial. So we can also write 3 factorial like this. 5 factorial can also be written as 5 into 4 factorial, or 5 into 4 into 3 factorial, right? So if the questions like this come, solve 9 factorial upon 6 factorial into 3 factorial, then 9 factorial can be written as 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 factorial. It is not required to completely open this 9 factorial, because here in the denominator it is 6 factorial. So write 9 factorial like this upon 6 factorial into this 3 factorial will be 3 into 2 into 1. Now cancel out this 6 factorial, so you will get the answer as 84. Clear? Now see this question: if 1 upon 8 factorial plus 1 upon 9 factorial is equal to x upon 10 factorial, find x. Now see, if we look at these 3 denominators, the smallest is this 8 factorial. Therefore we will break this 9 factorial and 10 factorial as into 8 factorial. So 9 factorial can be written as 9 into 8 factorial equal to x upon this 10 factorial can be written as, in terms of 8 factorial, 10 into 9 into 8 factorial, right? Now taking 1 by 8 factorial common from both of these terms, 1 by 8 factorial into, you will get 1 plus from here 1 by 9 equal to, see, taking this 8 factorial also this side, so 8 factorial will come here, equal to x upon 10 into 9 is 90. Now this 8 factorial will get cancelled, you will get 10 by 9 into, take this 90 on this side, so x will be 100, right? So your exercise 7.2 is basically based on the factorials. Now we will discuss what is permutation. So a permutation is an arrangement in a definite order of a number of objects taken some or all at a time. So see, permutation is nothing but the arrangement. If you are given the n objects, then either they will ask you to arrange all the n objects or some of them in a definite order. Then that arrangement is nothing but the permutation only, right? So permutation is nothing but the arrangements of the objects. Now see, permutation when all the objects are distinct. In this there will be two cases, either we can repeat the objects or we cannot repeat the objects. Objects are distinct. Now the first is when objects do not repeat. All the objects are distinct and also we cannot repeat the objects. Now this theorem says that if the number of permutations of n different objects taken are at a time, number of permutations or number of arrangements of n different objects taken are at a time where this r is greater than 0 and it is equal to less than n, because we have n objects. Either we can arrange 1 or 2 or maximum up to n objects. Therefore the value of r lies from 1 to n, and the objects do not repeat is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to n minus r plus 1, and it is denoted by NPR. Basically this NPR says that we are given with the n objects, P is the symbol for the permutation or for the arrangement. So this says that we are given with the n objects and we are arranging r objects, right? So this is denoted by NPR. This is the permutation of n objects taken r at a time, and which is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to n minus r plus 1. So let us see how is this. So for the proof, see, now these are the r places in which we have to arrange the objects. We are given with the n objects and we have taken r at a time because we are given with these r places, right? Now number of permutations will be equal to number of ways in which vacant places can be filled. The number of ways in which these vacant places can be filled will be the number of permutations of n objects taken r at a time, right? Now see, because we have n objects, therefore for the first place we have n options, right? The first place can be filled in n ways. Now for the second place, because we said that the objects do not repeat, therefore for the second place we are left with n minus 1 options, because at first place you have filled this first place with any one of the n options, right? Therefore now we are left with n minus 1 options. Similarly for the third place, one option will decrease, therefore from n minus 1 now we are left with n minus 2 options. So for the second place we have n minus 1 options, which can be written as n minus 2 minus 1. For the third place we have n minus 2 options, which can be written as n minus 3 minus 1. because here the place is second, so we have written 2 minus 1. Here the place is third, so we have written 3 minus 1. Therefore, following this pattern only, for the rth place we will have n minus r minus 1, that is n minus r plus 1 options, right? Therefore, the number of ways of filling objects in these r vacant places will be, for the first place we have n options, for the second n minus 1, for the third n minus 2, for the next you will get n minus 3, n minus 4 up to n minus r plus 1, right? Therefore, we can say, because number of permutations, that is NPR, is equal to number of ways in which these r vacant places can be filled, which is equal to this. Therefore, NPR is nothing but n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to n minus r plus 1, right? Now see, this NPR is equal to, now multiplying the right side with n minus r minus 1 up to 1 upon n minus r into n minus r minus 1 up to 1. Now this numerator is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to n minus r plus 1 into n minus r into n minus r minus 1 up to 1. So this is nothing but the n factorial, starting from n and decreasing one number, it goes up to 1. So the product of this will be n factorial only, upon the product of this n minus r, then decreasing one number, then again decreasing one number up to 1, will be the n minus r factorial, right? So NPR is equal to this n factorial upon n minus r whole factorial, right? And you know where r goes from 1 to n, because r is greater than 0 and equal to less than n. So the value of r can be 1, 2 up to n, right? Now see this question, if they ask how many 4-digit numbers can be formed from the digits 1 to 9 if no digits can be repeated. Now see, if we apply the fundamental principle of counting, then according to that we have these 4 places, right? And we have the digits 1 to 9, that is 9 digits we have. Now for the first place we have 9 options, because digits cannot be repeated. For the second place we have 8 options, then for the third place 7 options, and for the fourth place 6 options. Therefore, by principle of fundamental counting, we can say that number of 4-digit number digits that can be formed are 9 into 8 into 7 into 6, which is this. Now if we apply the formula of permutation, so we are given with the digits 1 to 9. Therefore, in total we have 9 options. Therefore, n is 9. Now at a time we will use only 4 digits, because we have to make a 4-digit number. Therefore, out of 9 digits, for making a 4-digit number at a time we will use only 4 digits, right? Therefore, r is 4. Also, because digits cannot be repeated, therefore we can use this formula. Because the objects, that is the digits, are distinct, also we cannot repeat the objects. Therefore, the permutation or the number of 4-digit number will be 9p4, right? So according to this formula, 9p4 is 9 factorial upon 9 minus 4 factorial, that is 5 factorial. Now write this 9 factorial as 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 factorial, because 5 factorial exists in the denominator. So you will get it as 9 into 8 into 7 into 6, which is the same as this, right? So this is what is permutation. We will discuss more about permutation in the next lecture. For today, your homework is you have to complete exercise 7.2, which is based on factorials only. So you can do it easily. Okay, thank you.